welcome to the Pitcher Nail Down. I'm Jason Gilbo, Jake Gilbo. Evan with me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at pitching on tonight's slate, and it's a smaller slate, 6 games, but at least we have some options to work with.
Definitely. I mean, you look at the top, we obviously have Syndergaard, so that's a relief for cash games. I think if all goes well, unlike our boy Felix last night, who got smoked. But other than that, I think Syndergaard has a much better shot, so I like him in cash.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And looking at the games here, first one, Pirates and Rangers, over-under of 9. Juan Nicasio making a start. And same with Yu Darvish, it's been a long time since we've seen him pitch for the Rangers. He's on a 90, 95 pitch count, so nothing too major, but he's going to draw a tough matchup against the Pirates. But, I mean, GPP-wise on a small slate, we know what Yu Darvish has as far as a strikeout rate. And if they're going to price him the same as, Wade Miley and Gio Gonzalez, I think I might roll the dice in a GPP with him.
I think he's definitely worth a roll of the dice. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be the only ones who look at that and think that. Kind of like Urias yesterday, which obviously didn't work out, but I think the process was still there. I think he's going to be 10 to 20% in pretty much everything, but I think that's worth it. Still, just throw some tournaments out there. If it hits, probably gets around 20. I think that's a realistic goal.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm just looking. I mean, 8,700, not a bad FanDuel price. I think if maybe they weren't some other guys around him, that like a Wade Miley who's 600 less, it's like, okay, I'd rather just go with Darvish.
Right, definitely.
So. Next one here, you got Cardinals and Nationals, Adam Wainwright, Gio Gonzalez, 7.5 over/under, Washington -132 favorites. I'm actually not a fan of either pitcher here. I just think this one kind of offers a couple of bats from both sides that I really like. So I'm really more keyed in on Syndergaard and Greinke and a couple other names tonight.
Yeah, which is weird because you'd sort of look at this game from the outset, like before the season, and you'd say, oh, okay, well, maybe Wainwright, Gio's a solid arm, but I'm not targeting this Cardinals team, even though they have sort of been targetable lately. I'm not targeting the Cardinals, and no way I'm rostering Wainwright at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, even with the Nationals offense as bad as they've been, I just like some guys like Murphy and Harper a little bit too much to the point where I'm staying away,
Definitely.
Next one here, you got Dodgers and Mets. Kenta Maeda, Noah Syndergaard. Mets -162 favorites, over/under 7. Syndergaard, kind of the easy top option of the night. You're just looking at what he's done this season. I mean, below a 2 ERA, holding opponents to a 246 WOBA. And I mean, this Dodger lineup's been in the past been something you kind of maybe hesitate putting pitchers against, but not this season. I mean, 25th in WOBA, 20% strikeout rate, so very below average right now.
I will go back from that example earlier in the year. Is Maeda cheap enough to start against Syndergaard and maybe work out?
8,800's in pricey, and I mean, looking over his stuff, I mean, he hasn't been great. I mean, 4 earns over the last 3 starts, and teams that have seen him twice. I mean, like San Diego, and got to him. And I think the Mets are going to be one that actually could be a sneaky stack tonight with how Maeda's pitched. So yeah, I'm not really looking at him as far as an SP2 goes.
All right, that's fair. I might look at him in a tournament, but I don't think there's any real cash consideration even on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets haven't been great against right-handed pitching. I mean, they've been fairly average, but they do carry a monster 23% strikeout rate. So if Maeda is on this game, I mean, he could certainly pay off in that department.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, Thor, easy number 1. Next game here, you got the Astros and Angels, Dallas Keuchel versus Jared Weaver. Houston -132 favorites, over/under 7.5. Keuchel once again priced down pretty low as he's been much this season, 6,300.
Deservedly so.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not like it's like he's 12 and like they keep pricing him down.
He's not throwing 3 hitters out there. He's throwing 4 earned runners.
Yeah, he's been poor, but on a small slate, I mean, salary relief, you look at this game. I mean,
Yeah.
it has one of the lower over/unders on the slate, 7.5. In GPP wise, I mean, as a
Oh, you're already talking yourself into this one. He's going to be in your lineups. I don't know if I'm going that direction, but I mean, he does have upside. This Angels offense does not intimidate me whatsoever. Obviously, other than the mountain lion in the middle there, but I think it's a viable tournament play. But he's just been really bad when he's been bad this year. So I,
he
I think
has,
I think he's a fair tournament guy
he
where
is.
your lineup might be done within the first 3 innings.
Oh, that's very possible. And I think that is a risk that everyone should be aware of. But
Right.
I mean, you pair him with a Syndergaard or a Greinke. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad 1-2 punch. I mean, especially given the other names. I mean, Gio Gonzalez, Wainwright, not for sure locks. Maeda, not a for sure lock. Miley. So I mean, there's a lot of risk as far as choosing an SP2 that's not just going flat out Greinke and Syndergaard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you want to make a move in GPPs, I mean, Keuchel's still rolling the solid ground ball rate. You like the park factors out there in LA. So, I mean, this Angels team, they don't strike out a ton, but they do rate 22nd in WOBA. So, I still think GPP wise, if he gets you 15 to 20 points, picks up that win, quality start, that'll pay off in the long run.
Definitely.
So, on the other side, I'm really looking more so at Houston bats. I mean, Jared Weaver's been up and down this year, but at that price tag, I mean, I'm not touching him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be weaving George Springer and Jose Altuve into my lineups tonight. Hey. All right, stop the pod here. Guys, I might have to retire after that. I don't know. Yeah, I like this top 3. But I mean, beyond that, maybe an Evan Gattis, Luis Valbuena. But like going after Weaver, but on beyond this Astros lineup, especially in a stack.
Mm-hmm.
I think your move is to just stack those top 3 and look elsewhere for value.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at Weaver. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the park factors, but I mean, he's been still bad. I mean, 1.89 home runs per 9. And I think that Houston team's gonna get to him tonight.
That's not good, folks.
No, it's not. Twins and Mariners, Phil Hughes, Wade Miley, over under of 8. Seattle minus 156 favorites here. Miley's a guy who, I mean, there's some good and bad with him. I mean, you just look at him. I mean, you look at the Twins matchup. I mean, 29th in WOBA against lefties, 23.5% strikeout rate. Miley allowing a 301 WOBA in Safeco. So the DraftKings price tag is a little bit more expensive than I would like. But 7,900, I think he has more strikeout upside than Keuchel does on FanDuel for just 300 more. Going up against a Twins team that's, yes, they're heavily right-handed, but so is that Angels team, and they don't strike out quite a bit.
I like Miley. I think he's a decent option. Obviously, he's overpriced on DraftKings, but beggars can't be choosers on a 6-gamer. So I think I'm looking at him as sort of that tournament, but he's borderline cash. But because of Greinke, I don't think he's gonna push into cash for me at all. But yeah, tournament lineups, he'll probably be the third guy I'm starting to look at for lineups.
Yeah, I mean, you look, he's only pitched less than 6 innings, 1 start out of 9 this season, which is nice. So, yes, he might be allowing 3 to 4 runs, but he picks up a win. He pitches deep into games. He's going to get you around 15 to 20.
Right.
So, you don't necessarily mind him in this matchup. So, I think you're right. I think he is borderline cash playable and definitely a GPP roll of the dice.
Right. I think when you look at a Chris Archer last night, who sort of gave up quite a few runs, but they kept him in, I think that's what we're kind of looking at with Miley here. So it raises that floor quite a bit.
Yeah. And one thing to think, I mean, Archer was like $2,000 less.
Oh, no, I know. I was just using
No,
it.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But that was a bummer that he gave up a 3-run home run. It didn't count against him for some reason. But anyway, on to Phil Hughes here. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. I see you looking at him. Don't do that. I see you like that salary. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
He's awful, and you're picking against him with some Mariners bats.
And you know what? If he pulls a Chase Anderson and throws like a perfect game, that's fine. But we're not going down that road.
You need to let that go.
Hey, I love Chase. I'm not going to let that go. I'm proud of him. Like a proud father.
It was like 4 innings. Oh, man. Last game of the night here, and you got Padres and Diamondbacks. Cesar Vargas versus Zach Greinke. Arizona, the biggest favorites on the slate, minus 200, 8.5 over-under. The matchup with the Padres is enough for me to overlook Greinke's home struggles tonight because Chase Field, it hasn't been good for him. I mean, he's allowing a 387 WOBA there compared to 251 on the road. But you look at this San Diego team. I mean, they're dreadful. They're coming off a nice night where they faced a lefty, and
he got a month's worth of runs last night. So
yes.
Be good for at least a few weeks.
Yeah.
In terms of Greinke, I think how I'm gonna play this, I'm pretty much automatically going him and Syndergaard in cash. I know it costs a lot on. That's pretty much how I'm going on Syndergaard, but on FanDuel. But I just think the way this works out, especially if you're doing tournaments tonight, I wouldn't suggest doing 1 or 2 tournament lineups. I think you gotta spread it out here. Get some different shares of guys on every team and just kind of build through that Greinke Syndergaard. And then after maybe 10 lineups of just Greinke Syndergaard, switch off to some different pitchers. But that's the clear top option to me.
Mm-hmm. And you look and it's not like there's bad value plays out there. I mean, that leaves you with about 3,200 left over.
Oh, yeah, you're kind of forced to go cheap even if you don't want to pay down at some positions tonight. It's just like there's not really much going on. So,
but it's, I mean, you look and it's like those Houston bats aren't that expensive. I mean, Correa 44,000 is not a bad price tag for a top player. I mean, Springer 45, yes, you're gonna have to dig deep down as far as other spots goes. But I think that's where I'm kind of looking at that Cardinals Nationals game. Is I think there are some decent bats in there, and they are priced a little bit lower just because of that matchup.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can figure stuff out, kind of like Ichiro yesterday or something like that. There's always going to be guys that are a little cheaper. So obviously, other than Dodgers, don't go after the Dodgers tonight. But other than that, I think there are some pretty cheap values that can make those high-priced pitchers work tonight.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to wrap things up here with the pitcher nail down. Be sure to check out DaveFantasyCafe.com for all great tools and content.